Welcome to Seek Reality. I'm Roberta Grimes, and I am so happy you're with us today. Oh, my dear Seek Reality friends, our guest today is someone I have known for almost 14 years. I met her very soon after she had suffered what was an almost unthinkable tragedy. Back so many years ago, Craig Hogan and I were still putting on a few Afterlife conferences, and as I recall, we were doing one in, I think, Scottsdale, Arizona, and we met our guest today, Maria Pei, at one of those conferences. She had just lost her two beautiful young sons in a manner that it was really almost unthinkable. Yet Maria had such an amazing story to tell about how she had managed to get in touch with them across the veil. And she had even learned to meet with them in the astral plane. And yes, this is possible. It's certainly possible. Maria was such a wonderful inspiration to parents whose children had transitioned that when I began Seek Reality, I hadn't even begun it then as a podcast. I invited her to be my guest a couple of times and tell her story, but then I lost track of her. Now we're in touch again, and I have gladly, thrillingly invited her back again to be our guest to learn what I wanted, frankly, to learn what she's up to now, and to see how her sons, Sean and Kyle, are doing in their ongoing lives as well. Maria is a Harvard University graduate. She's a graduate of the University of San Diego School of Law, and she's a former attorney now in human resources and private practice who has since retired from the county of San Diego. She tells us she had no prior religious beliefs or spiritual practices at all prior to her son's deaths in 2011. But the wonderful thing is that she learned how to do what she calls journey meditations to connect with her sons in spirit, and that helped in her journey through grief to healing. And this is a story that so many parents who are grieving now really need to hear. Maria, so happy you're back. Welcome, welcome. It's great to have you back with us today.
Thanks, Roberta. It's wonderful to see you. It's wonderful to be back.
Oh, I'm sorry to take you back to a time of great pain for you, but people want to hear what happened. Tell us what happened then.
Yes, I completely understand. So many of us experience these major events in our lives that changed the course. But so what happened to me was back in June of 2011. My sons, Sean, who was 15 at the time, and Kyle, who was 13, I had shared custody with my ex-husband. And on June 21st, they were with their father. And I, of course, came to learn the next day that he had killed them in their sleep. He had given them Ambien so that they would sleep deeply. And, not to sound gruesome, but I think, again, the manner of death is significant, as I've learned. And he shot them both in the head. And then he killed himself. Well, actually, he tried to set fire to his house, and then he killed himself. And so that was the big event in my life.
Oh my God.
And
You know how you remember some things and you never get them out of your head? I have never gotten out of my head where I was when I heard this young woman tell her story of the police cars and the traffic when you went to pick up your sons, and instead you saw the fire trucks, the police cars, and you went running. Oh my God, oh my God. And
yeah. And
that was how you
just
learned.
to back up what that day was like, to me, it was normal. I was living a very mainstream, mundane life, going to work and raising my kids. And it was that morning of June 21st when I was getting ready for work. And I had the television news on. And what stopped me in my tracks was when they said murder suicide. I don't know why I stopped, but I stopped and I got close to the TV and I noticed that they were panning around the neighborhood and it looked like the house that was across the street from Tom's house, my ex-husband. And that's when I started to have these sensations of a little bit of panic, a little bit of worry, but I started making the phone calls to Sean's cell phone, to Kyle's cell phone, to Tom's cell phone. No answer, of course. And then the panic really did set in, and I just immediately got rushed to get in my car and drove straight down there, which is about 10 minutes away. And when I arrived, the street was blocked off with the police tape. So I just pulled my car into the nearest driveway and I started running toward the house. And there was a policeman or a plainclothes detective. He just spread his arms out to kind of stop me, slow me down. And the first thing I said to him was, just please tell me it's not my son's. And, again, kind of the panic was rising, and he stopped me. He says, "What's your name? What are your son's names?" And when I told him all this, he said to me, "There's been a shooting." And immediately I knew intuitively that they had moved on or had died. And, I just had this overpowering feeling that I wanted to touch the ground, the earth. I needed to ground. I needed to touch the earth. And so I just went down. I think he thought I was collapsing, but I think I just wanted to get down on the ground and feel some sensation of earth. And that was kind of that. And it's so very vivid still, as you can imagine, Roberta. I mean, it's something that you don't ever really forget.
No.
But obviously the quality of it has changed over time, where I am able to talk to you about it and relate it to you and tell you what that experience was like.
But even then, you were such a strong person. I remember being so amazed by you because you were so
Yeah.
strong. And did you have any signs from them, or how did you know you were going to be able to be in touch with them? What made you feel you were going to do this?
Initially, was interesting. What I started seeing when I would close my eyes is a lot of color in my mind's eye. You know how you talk about the third eye perception, and there were a lot of green and blue colors coming in, almost like it was like starting with the elementary level of connection. So that's what I first started seeing, and then I guess when something so drastic like that happens to you, your intuition, your soul, spirit, body really kicks in to kind of keep you going. And so intuitively, I knew my sons were somewhere. Again, I didn't have a religious practice. I didn't have a spiritual practice, but I just knew intuitively that even though in the physical world they were gone, they were existing somewhere else. And that was kind of my motivation to try and do something more, to continue to have a relationship with them is really what I wanted.
Of course.
Yeah. But of course, initially, I think like a lot of parents that have lost children, they don't want to stay here. They want to go where their kids are. They want to die. It's an unbearable feeling to suffer such an intense loss. And so there were definitely plenty of times where I was hoping that maybe I wouldn't wake up the next day.
Yeah.
But I think my soul and my spirit was just keeping me going, and the boys. I could sense them, even though I couldn't really articulate exactly what that was.
But you had someone told you that there was a way to do what you because you ended up doing. I remember you're talking about finding a place in the astral plane, and they made a place for you to meet. And this was very real. I mean, I've been to the astral plane, and I know exactly the kind of meeting place that you had with them. And this was real. This was all
Yes.
very real.
Yes, absolutely. And the way that kind of all began is that, it was a few weeks after the boys had passed the service. We'd done the memorial service, and I was just one day sitting in my kitchen at home, just absolutely devastated, bereft, and kind of just staring out the window. And all of a sudden, what popped into my mind was Marcy, the name Marcy. Um, and
Did you
I,
know Marcy?
well, I did remember that my good friend Shannon had a sister named Marcy, who I'd met once before. I didn't know what she did. I didn't really even know where she lived, but for whatever reason, that was, uh, I guess, the divine message I was getting. So I called my friend Shannon. I said, I need to talk to your sister Marcy. I don't know why, but this is what I'm getting. And so that's what I did. I called Marcy and I ended up finding out that she's basically she does shamanic work.
Oh,
Um, and so I told her, I said, I don't know why, but I need you to help me. I'm asking you to help me. And so the first thing she says, well, let's let me check in with our guides to see if our work is appropriate. And not having any real background in kind of spiritual work, I thought, okay, well, I don't know who these guides are, but I'm going to go with it. And so we, after she did that, we ended up um, deciding that yes, I could come and spend some time, do some work with her. And again, I didn't really know what that work was going to be, but
yeah,
somehow, I mean, being an attorney, being logical, being very left brained, I just had to be open because I had no tools um, in my possession that I knew how to kind of solve this problem that I had to solve.
right.
Or
You had to
how do
trust.
I keep going in life? And
Right.
so when I met Marcy, she was the one that basically taught me how to take these journeys, and you talked about astral journeys, and it was kind of a step-by-step process. And you kind of indulge me, I'll talk about these steps because this is
Yes.
the new workshop that I think I told you, the new workshop that we are offering to people now because we want to share this knowledge.
Oh,
Marcy and I
please.
have both been, pretty much just kind of living our lives, and we have all of a sudden, like this last year, just kind of been nudged to share more, not just about my story and what I was able to do, but let's share the knowledge of how you do it. Let's
Yes.
take people through these steps so that if it is the right kind of process for them, they will know and they'll have the tools and the resources to do what I did, which was
Absolutely.
basically to have a relationship with my sons who are not in the physical realm anymore, but who I connected with for about a year pretty regularly. So the first thing we did was basically kind of sharpen my senses. She started me off with this, what we call homework. And they were just sensory meditations where I would sit quietly in a place with, if, usually for me, it was in my backyard. And she'd just have me sit with my eyes closed and focus on listening.
Yes.
And I think that what that really did was give my intellectual brain something to do. My spiritual body and my emotional body could kind of receive information.
Right.
So I just started off with these and we're talking 5 minutes, 10 minutes maximum meditations to just listen, write it all down, and then also feel and write that all down. So I started this journaling process as well because it was important to record the experiences and kind of have the ability to look back and see kind of what you were experiencing.
Right.
Well, sharpening the senses was the first thing. And I started doing that before we even got together because she wanted to have me start working on my meditation abilities and kind of clearing my channels, which was kind of the next step when I got to see her. And so we started working on my energy body. And again, a lot of this may be really foreign to people. I mean, it was absolutely foreign to me. When I arrived at her place, I had no idea what to expect. I just was anxious about the unknown. But again, I had to just go with something because I didn't know where else to go. And so this process that she took me through about kind of clearing my chakras, clearing the energy body, getting me to be, a receptive vessel is, and that's what we all are. I mean, we're able to receive so much from the upper
Yes.
realm, from the other side, from the divine, and we just have to kind of be open and clear our receptors as much as possible. So,
It's beautiful, though, that she was doing this for you. You
yes,
are a completely material being. You had no idea any of this was even possible. And she was teaching you to become what you really are, which is a spiritual being.
yes.
And good for you to be open to it. I thought that was, I mean, amazing to hear how open you were to it. That's wonderful.
Thank you. And you know what? And I had to be. I was just in this deep grief, and I didn't know how to handle that. I didn't have tools
Yeah.
to process and journey through the grief and learn how to kind of heal myself.
Yeah.
And that's what we are doing. I mean, I have some funny stories about how we went on these journeys, because once she kind of cleared me, then she taught me how to do these journey meditations, and they're basically guided meditations to raise your energy levels. So if you can visualize, and we all do, we all have imagination, we all have the ability. So visualizing moving out of your body and seeing the earth from different levels. So that was kind of the initial,
Good
you
for you.
raising your level. And you could say, see yourself above your body, see yourself above the room, above your house, above your street, above your city, and
You
raising.
really did this?
Yeah. And everybody can. You just guide yourself through that meditation. And we all, like I said, we all have this ability to visualize and to imagine. I mean, those are some of our strongest, that's how we connect with the divine.
Yes.
So, starting off with those kind of simple meditations, moving on to journey meditations. And the first place she took me was animal realm. And one of the things I learned, and maybe Roberta, and maybe other listeners know, that we all have guides on the other side that are helping us.
Of
Yeah,
course.
we have an animal guide. And so I went first to animal realm to try and connect with and meet my animal guide. The first time I did it, I didn't. Again, skeptical. I was just seeing a jungle. I wasn't sure if it was
That's
real.
why I don't know how you were able to do this at all. You
Yeah,
have a remarkably flexible and open spiritual mind. You really do, that you were able to do this at all. I
yeah.
give you a tremendous amount of credit.
Well, thank you. And again, I don't think that's unusual. I think we as human beings, and we all know we're spiritual beings first. So we
Most
all
people don't understand that, though, dear.
have.
You're pretty amazing.
But I'm a good example of somebody that was really not in touch with the spiritual aspect of myself, and then and to be skeptical, analytical, logical, and to be open enough to start exploring that part of me. And
Yay.
that's
Yay for
how
you.
we get
Yeah.
there. So and even then, in my second trip to the animal realm, that's where I found my animal guide, which is Panther. And Panther has helped me journey on. And the other guide, of course, is basically your upper realm guide, your main
Yes.
guide. And some people like to call your I guess your guardian angel, or that
For your
that
spirit guide. Yeah,
the spirit
I'm
guide,
very
the one
close to
that,
mine. Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of helping you. And sometimes you know it, but you don't know it, because you feel the nudge. You think, why do I want to do this, or why do I want to make this decision? And I think a lot of it is our guide is helping us, uh,
Hmm.
and it doesn't
All the
become
time.
clear,
Yes.
conscious
Yes.
until later, and we think we had this great idea, when in reality,
It was his idea or her idea. Yeah.
guidance and a little bit of nudge, um,
Uh-huh.
which I think helps us obviously all kind of journey through our our physical life here. But so then the next step was, I met my guide is Michael, not the Archangel Michael, but
Yeah,
he has told
but
me
you're
that
Michael.
he
Yes.
aspires to be like Archangel Michael.
Right.
He would also accompany me to the upper realm. And the first step was what you had said earlier, was to create a sanctuary, to go there with your guide and create a place. Again, it's in your mind's eye, but it's also actually existing on this
Yeah.
spiritual level that we don't can't necessarily see within in the physical plane, but we sense it, and we know that it's there existing in that place. It's a safe place. It's a place where you can meet your and connect with your loved ones.
Uh-huh.
So we call it the sanctuary. And one of the funny stories is when Marcy was first taking me up to the upper realm, she said to me, now you got to promise me that you're going to come back. And again, being this kind of analytical left brain person, I was thinking, what is she talking about?
Yeah.
Back. And I've since come to learn that, absolutely, we as spirit beings, we do have will to stay there, and it's tempting to stay there when it feels so amazing and infused with love and peace.
That's the problem. It's perfectly beautiful. There's nothing to fear. There's only perfect love,
Yep,
and your
yep,
sons are there.
yeah.
Why
And
would you ever come back?
right? I mean, there were times where I was like, why do I have to go back? I think it's similar to people that have near death experiences. They go there and they think, this is an amazing place. Why do I want to leave here? But their guides or their loved ones say, no, you're not done with what you have to do in your physical
Right.
state on Earth. So you
Right.
do need to go back. Um, but it's an amazing experience. It's like you said, it's surreal, it's unreal, but it's super real all at the same time. And I've told many people it is that upper realm experience. My talking to my sons, talking to my mother, seeing my cat, all of that was so as real to me as you are here.
Yeah, it's hyper real almost. Yeah.
Hyper. So and once I learned these skills from Marcy, that's when I started doing my regular journey meditations not every day, but every few days, and just being able to receive information that would not only keep me going, but that would just assure me that, first of all, my sons exist. I can keep having a relationship with them. And there's work for me to still do here on Earth. So I think, there were just so many beautiful experiences. And as you know, I wrote a book. I say I wrote a book, but I didn't really write it. This is basically my diary for the first year after my sons passed. And it's me recording everything that I experienced when I was in, I don't know, I guess you would say normal waking state here on Earth, when I
Mhm.
was in a spiritual higher realm state, and kind of my journey through that process, so I could get to a point where I have just this knowledge and understanding about, or a sense of, our existence in our higher consciousness, and work that I'm still supposed to be doing, which is now why we decided we need to do these workshops. We need to try and share this knowledge with people so that they can also work on expanding their consciousness and meeting with their loved ones if that's what they want to do.
So when you met with them, people are wondering, were they your same sons? How had they changed?
They sure were my same sons, especially initially. And what surprised me, Roberta, was how normal it felt. Like they were Sean and Kyle. They were laughing about something. They were, eating fruit off the table. But the first thing is they just wanted to hug me and assure me that they were doing fine. They wanted to assure me that I was doing fine, that you're doing so good, Mom. You're doing so well. Keep going. This is the way it was meant to be, and you will learn more about that as we move on in our
They
journey.
said this is the way it was meant to be. So their lives were meant to be as long as they were.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's interesting, and people will be surprised to hear that.
Right.
But
Well,
sometimes children will plan. If they don't need more lessons in their lifetime, they will come and plan lives that will end in childhood as gifts. Not all gifts are fun to receive, but they will plan those gifts of a shorter life for their parents and loved ones in this lifetime so that you can grow spiritually from the experience. As you have grown spiritually from the experience, certainly, and now other people will grow spiritually from what you're planning to give to them.
that's
It's,
exactly right, Roberta. That is the experience I've had. One of the most impactful journey meditations I had with them is when I got the point finally where I had to ask them, why did it have to be like this? Why did the departure have to be so harsh? And they said to me, Mom, this is something that was not just for you. It had to be done in a way that would impact many others, that whether they were your family, your friends, people that didn't even know you, people that just heard the story, it impacts them in a way that makes them really reflect on their lives, and really think about why these things happen, and ultimately change people for the better. I agree with you. Not all gifts are easy, but I really do honestly feel like this is a gift to me because it's made me into a much more spiritual being, and that's what the whole journey is about. Is to kind of go down into physical matter and be able to see your spiritual nature and kind of get back in touch with that spiritual nature and have that understanding that that's who we truly are. My boys have gone home. This is not our home. We all know that.
that's
We know for a
so
fact that we are not
true.
going to be here forever. And that is actually part of the beauty of it, is knowing that we're not. But while we're here, while we have left, the time we have left, let's make it impactful. And so that's what now I am really focused on trying to do,
A
and
life
sharing.
lived for others is a life worthwhile. That's exactly
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah. And I feel like maybe, I'm kind of this special case study. Marcy always tells me, my shaman, that you're my amazing case study. And what I think we share together is, I'm an inspiration and she's the information, because
Great.
I can
Yes.
tell you what happened to me and how I actually survived this and thrived and grew from it and expanded my consciousness. And she's the one that has kind of the logistics and how you do that. So we're really wanting to share this with people and make it accessible. And so that's why I kind of reached out to you again to say, hey, I would like to try to let people know about these workshops that we're doing, and hopefully we can help people. That's what we want to do.
Yes. Oh, absolutely right. Oh, I think this is so amazing. But I think it's important to emphasize the fact that your sons crafted their life plans to end in their teens. Just as Mikey Morgan, who was often our guest,
Yes, I
his
remember.
last exit point was at the age of 20. He didn't plan to live longer than 20. And most people find it hard to imagine that, for example, your sons planned to exit. That was probably their last exit point. That was when they were going to go home.
Absolutely.
And people find that hard to imagine. They don't, they do, people so lack in understanding. And what you're doing is helping them to open their hearts and minds and to open their understanding so much to the fact that this is not our home. This is
Yeah.
just a place we come to grow spiritually, we come to learn. And your purpose and your son's purposes were to help people to learn to grow. What a beautiful gift all three of you are giving to the world. And
Thank
what
you.
joy to give that gift.
Thank you. Well, and here's another thing I think that's really, really difficult for people to understand
Yes, I
is that
know.
my ex-husband played a vital role in this, obviously. Um, uh, People, I think, will find it very hard to believe that I have forgiven. I'm in a place of forgiveness. That I think is on the next level. And it has taken me some time to do that. But part of it is just from growing, learning, understanding, expanding consciousness. You and I both know you cannot kill a soul. You can't. So,
No,
what
you must forgive
happens?
your husband.
Yeah,
That was it. Not all gifts are, as I say,
yeah,
fun to
yeah,
receive. That
right.
was a gift he
So,
gave to all three of you to help you to live your life plans.
absolutely. So, if we start with that understanding that you cannot kill a soul, then why do these things happen? Well, because we need to um, experience them, we need to learn from them, and we need to grow from them.
Yes.
So, the other thing I wanted to share with you, Roberta, is that I am working on another book because this book is a
Great.
diary. This book is a
Yeah.
diary, and I have now had 14 years of, basically hindsight, right? Where I can talk more in detail about what I learned from Marcy, some of the other, I guess, I don't know what you would call them, just more greater knowledge about myself, about the world, about my sons, and hopefully I can share more inspiration with people about their lives because it's hard here on earth. This is a
Yeah,
hard
this is
school,
hard
right?
to do
So
for all of
it's a
us.
hard school and it's meant to be that way. It's
Yeah.
meant by design. So whatever I can share looking back on it. So I'm writing working more on a true memoir versus a diary, so I can talk a little bit more about the things that I've learned and
Great.
going from basically from tragedy to transcendence, and that gives you a little clue about what my book title is going to be. Um,
Tragedy to Transcendence. That's a
yeah,
lovely title.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I actually did a podcast with my dear friend and a college classmate, Jay Sherrick, who has a podcast called oh gosh, how could I know? Spiritually challenged,
Yes.
spiritually challenged. So,
Good. Have you done Sandra Champlain?
yes, I have. Actually, I think I've done 2 interviews with Sandra.
Yeah.
But it's been a while since I've done some interviews. But now, the universe, nudges us, and sometimes it really pushes.
Yes.
And so now, right now, this is kind of more of the pushing.
So when is this book going to be out, the new one?
Well, it's still a work in progress. I'm hoping that I can finish it sometime middle of next year. I've got so many things going on with trying to get these workshops going that I'm hoping within the next 6 to 8 months.
Well, be sure to let me know. We'll have you back for that.
Absolutely, I would love to do that.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
So people are curious about when you met with your sons. So we're talking solid guys. I
yeah.
mean, when you hugged them, they were solid. They felt like your regular sons.
Yes. I could, all your senses are, are working at that time. Obviously, I could see them, um, touch their faces and hands, kiss them,
They
hug
were
them.
warm. They had their
Yes.
warm, normalish bodies.
Yes. And here's the beauty too, though. So many times they didn't always come in the same way. Sometimes they would come. I remember specifically one journey meditation I had with them, and I was very distraught. And I said, what's going to become of me? And they started laughing, and they dematerialized from their physical form into a more energy form, and kind of made me do the same thing. And they kind of just rose up into the atmosphere, and they were laughing, and they said, "This is what's going to become of you, Mom. Energy, pure energy."
Aren't they
And then,
funny?
it just was so soothing. And then they came back down and came into more of their human forms again.
Aren't they funny? Yeah, that's absolutely true.
So the experiences can be run the whole gamut. It's
Of course.
as human beings, I know that we feel the need to feel the physical form. That's why we're here.
Right.
We're in matter, and that's how we define, I guess, our existence in our lives is through matter. But then you think about it. How do you know you love somebody? You just do. You feel it. You sense it. There's an energetic feeling to it, and that's kind of what it's like to be in the upper realm. You're not limited by the physical,
Yeah,
um, and so you're in that more pure form. And it just really helps when you get back in the physical form to have that sensation. It's hard for us to stay there because we're so focused on all the things we need to do. We need to
I
eat and
know, I
sleep
know.
and
And the
groom
Monday, Tuesday,
ourselves.
Wednesday of it, right? It's
So, and I guess that is part of the challenge is to be able to have that, be able to expand beyond the physical.
that's right.
We get bogged down, right? We got to do all those physical things, and that's part of the lesson of Earth. It's just a beautiful place to learn some amazing lessons.
It is. It is. But
Yeah.
I am so happy for you. And we will it's the same what is the website the same as your website was before, or is there a new
Yes.
website?
Yeah. No, it's the same. It's Sean and Kyle, all lowercase. Sean and Kyle
Yes.
imaginefund.com.
.com. That's what we had,
Yeah,
yes.
it's got some information in there about my book, and I want to let people know too. The book is on Amazon. You can order it if you want a hard copy, but you can have it for free. You can download a PDF version. It's on the website. It's part of my work, my gift
Yeah.
to humanity. So it's there on the website, and then you can learn more about my sons on the website, and maybe some of the projects where we are supporting and working on to promote their ideals. And Sean was all about peace and love, and
Yeah.
Kyle was all about integrity and excellence. And so I think that, to me, those things encompass everything that we're supposed to be doing as human beings.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, how are you in touch with them now? Do you is it more mental in touch?
it's more of like a higher consciousness in touch. It's like I can feel them in my just in my soul, my whole existence. I feel them. They'll sometimes pop in with something fun. Um, Here's an example. A couple of years ago, I got called for jury duty, and you're going through and they're calling juror number 1, 2, 3, randomly, right? Well, I was juror number 21. Of course, 21 is Kyle's number, his jersey number. That's how he shows up for me. So little things that pop ins like that.
Mhm.
But they know that I don't need that. I've reached a state of inner knowing, I guess. I don't know. You
Yes.
can call it inner peace, not total inner peace because I'm still a human being. So I can't quite get there yet, but I'm very close. Most of the time I do feel, they're just their overall presence.
You know they're alive. You
You
know
know
they're
they're alive.
eternal. You
Yeah.
know you will be with them eventually, but you have work to do here. So, wow, that is such a comfort for a mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's
Well,
everything.
it's even more of a comfort, Roberta, in a way that I don't have to worry about them.
That's true.
I know
Yeah,
they are absolutely safe.
that's
And
true. You don't
so,
worry when they're not home by a certain hour.
yeah,
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 that's huge. That's right.
yeah. And they're doing their work on the other side, just as I'm meant to be doing my work here. You're doing your work. Everybody's doing their work.
That's right.
And it is
That's right.
the way that it is meant to be. And I always tell people, I know it was meant to be this way because it happened. It is this way. That is the
Mhm.
greatest evidence of the fact that this is the way it was meant to be because it is.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And the most foolish thing people will do is to rail against reality. You just can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is,
You hear
it's truly God's will. And
absolutely,
they have
absolutely
told you this is the way it was meant to be. So how
yes.
can you rail against that?
Right. Right. Yeah. And the fact that it has happened.
And that they're so happy where they are now. You can't absolutely be against that. What a beautiful thing.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, my dear, we've come to the end of our time. And it went very fast. Oh, my goodness, so
It
fast.
did. Yeah.
So tell me, is there anything you especially want people to take away from our time together today?
I I think really it's just to know that you are this amazing spiritual being, that you have so much within your power to learn about yourself and to help others. That's what we're here to do
Of course.
and to bring light. That's what we're here to do. So I hope that I can do that for some people.
And it's even more wonderful if you're able to help people to understand what their part is to play as well.
Yes,
In
absolutely.
in a few cases, I've been able to help people begin to understand what their part is. And that's the greatest joy of all.
It truly is. I agree, Roberta.
Oh, I've loved getting to know you again.
Yeah.
I just, we'll have to keep up this friendship, my dear. So just stay there a minute. I want to just tell everyone who'll be with us next week.
Okay.
Oh, okay, my beloved friends, I'm so sorry, but we've come to the end of our time together for this week. This has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. I am so happy you could be here today and sort of get to see and hear this. This has been truly beautiful. Please never forget that you are a powerful, eternal being. You never began, you never will end. If you're hearing my voice now, you are eternal. There is no time where we live for our eternity. And that's why, if you are alive now, you are always alive. And when you get that, when you understand it to the marrow of your bones, it changes everything in your life for the better. And next week, our guest will be our wonderful friend, Dr. Nathan Castle. He'll be with us for the 12th time. Now, Father Nathan is a Dominican priest. He was chosen by Spirit some 30 years ago now, or it may even be more, to do spirit rescue work for people who have become earthbound at death. And for these people, it didn't happen to them. They chose it. And usually this happens when people don't feel quite ready to go home. They feel unworthy to go home, or they felt that something on the earth was just not quite completed for them. And at this point, amazingly and tragically, we're told by Mikey Morgan and others who know that the percentage of people who die and then go off track that way is almost 25%. I find that horrifying. But Father Nathan is a great favorite among Seek Reality listeners. They tell me that very often. So please be sure to join us next week because this is going to be a lot of fun. And this week, we've been talking with Maria Pei. She's been with us for the third time, but I've known her for 14 years. And frankly, I think her story, it started out tragic, but it wasn't tragic at all. This was all planned by Maria and her sons and their father before any of them were born. She wrote a beautiful book called Journey to the Upper Realm, and it's free, and so the price is certainly right. If you go to her website, which you'll find at the bottom of the materials that go with this podcast, you can find it for free. I really think you should read it because I thought it was beautiful when I read it. And the whole story that she tells and the whole experience that she had for someone she was not religious, she was an attorney, and I'm an attorney too, but she was totally unspiritual. And she opened her mind and heart, and look what she has become. She is now going to be a lamp unto all the world, a beautiful inspiration to others. She is someone that you really want to know and get to understand, and she can teach you, as few people can, if you have lost a child, how you can surmount even that loss and become beautifully spiritual yourself. So I really recommend her website, and I recommend her to anyone who is grieving. We also should just mention that our dear friend Craig Hogan is the president and guru of Seek Reality Online. Because you know that this is not your true home, you may as well get a little advanced look at what your true home really is like. So just go to seekreality.com and learn there how to make your own reality more truly and more deeply and more hugely the reality which really is eternal. And now I think we've just about run out of time altogether, so I'm just going to say, please enjoy and make the most of this coming week in our one reality, always knowing that you are a powerful, eternal being, and you most of all in this entire universe, you in particular, are infinitely, eternally, and perfectly loved.